So, good evening. Let me I just want to quickly give you some updates. I didn't intend to talk because I'm really feeling a little bit subdued. The judgment on Chris Zumanizimba has not impressed me. I feel very bad what is happening to Chris. But before I get back to Chris, let me first start by talking about the issue of the vice president. I have seen, social media, a number of people are making innuendos, innuendos on innuendos, speculations on the vice president. I think, if we want to do politics, if we want to do politics and get some credibility, we need to be credible, we need to be authentic, we need to be objective. Otherwise, we lose the value of being a critical voice. A critical voice must be objective. A critical voice must be credible. We don't have to be throwing speculations around. I don't think it's good. Because some of these speculations that we throw around, I mean, you can start, some speculations, and then, yes, it will gain momentum, it will excite people. But few days later, it goes nowhere. I mean, then what happens to you who started whatever the speculation? I mean, you start a rumor to say, no, the vice president has resigned. The vice president is resigning. The vice president, what? And then at the end of the day, the vice president is still in position. Then what happens? What do you do to yourself as somebody who is being a critical voice? I think some of these things are not good. Be it that you are on the opposition, you are on the ruling, it is just not right when you when you try to perpetrate some of these rumors, innuendos, speculations. I don't think it's right. What is the situation on the vice president? The situation is that the vice president is still the vice president of this country. He's still the running mate of President Hakainde Hichilema. So, I want to tell you from a reliable source that those innuendos, those rumors that are flying around about the vice president, they are not true. They are not true. Those rumors that are going around, and I'm speaking this from a reliable source, that it is not true about those speculations. Yes, it is a fact that, President Hakainde Hichilema and the vice president, they may not really be singing from the same hymn book all the time. And I think it is also somehow true that, the vice president is not usually very much involved in so many things that happens. State House, it's on its own. The vice president is more of a ceremonial vice president, which unfortunately that's just what it is. A vice president is more ceremonial. They do very little, to make decisions and whatever. So, but to go on and say she's resigning, no, it is not right. No, she's on indefinite leave. We are just trying to misinterpret what is a straightforward issue. What is the straightforward issue? The straightforward issue is that when the president is not around, the running mate, who is the vice president, is automatically the president. Whether President Hakainde Hichilema likes it or not, the law states that in the absence of the president, the vice president becomes the acting president. So at the moment, the acting president is Vamutale Nalumango. And as the acting president, she cannot be in parliament. The vice president is a member of parliament. The vice president is a member of parliament. But the president is not a member of parliament. He only attends parliament on specific days. But the president is not part of parliament, is not a member of parliament. The vice president is a member of parliament. So, as a member of parliament, when she's acting as president, she goes on leave as a member of parliament. I hope mule umfikisha wino. She is a member of parliament as a vice president when the president is around. When the president is not around, she ceases to be a member of parliament because she becomes the acting president. She cannot sit in parliament as an acting president. She can't. But since she's a member of parliament, she takes leave. And in this case, they are saying indefinite leave because we are not sure when the president is coming back. The president has gone to do negotiations on the peace between Russia and Ukraine. So they are not sure when exactly they are going to come back because it is dependent on their meeting and the negotiations. That's why it is indefinite. Indefinite in the sense that she can't be in parliament. She is acting president. So she can't be in parliament. So she seeks leave in parliament so that she can be the president or acting president, if you like. So please ignore those speculations that are going around about the vice president. Ignore them. They have got no substance. Let us focus on substantive issues. So what we have, Banalu Mango, is the acting president. And in place of a vice president, we have Honorable Ambrose Rufuma, who now becomes the vice president. So at the moment, the vice president, acting vice president, is Ambrose Rufuma. And as acting president, he is the leader of government business in parliament. Nothing to do with Ifemulela and that Bana Lumango Chavana Shan Chavana. Nothing. Lekeni Uwufi. Uwufi will not help us. Let us focus on real issues. And what are those real issues? The real issues that we should be talking about are the arrests of people that belongs to PF, especially those around Edgar Lungu. Especially those around Edgar Lungu. This is what I'm talking about. If you're going to waste time talking about Banarumangu, you will rob yourself an opportunity to talk about real issues. Real issues relating to governance, real issues relating to prices of commodities. And particularly tonight, I want to talk about the real issue for me is the issue of Chris Zuma Nzimba. Now, Chris Zuma Nzimba, I've been talking about this. This is an injustice, and it is real. It is not fabrication, it is real. It is real in the sense that Chris Zuma Nzimba, if Chris Zuma Nzimba will come and will be part of this nonsense, the so-called gassing, there is nothing, there is no story to that issue of gassing. Even the co-accused have got nothing to do with this gassing. They have got nothing to do with it. And unfortunately, these people are now incarcerated on this issue to say, no, they were found with dangerous chemicals. We will see if we go to court, if indeed the court will be able to prove that these people, whatever chemical that they were having, are dangerous chemicals. Now, Chris Zuma Nzimba and his co-accused, they went to court because at the time when they were found with these chemicals, actually it is not Chris, it is the two gentlemen. These two gentlemen, they were caught in, I think, February 2020. And if you go back to February 2020, you will realize that that Chris Zuma Nzimba had just been appointed. I think Chris was appointed somewhere in December 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But at that time when those guys were arrested, Chris Zuma Nzimba was relatively new. He had not even known the corners of State House by the time those people were being arrested, found in possession with those chemicals that we are talking about. Here, he had not even worked. So I don't even understand. And by that time, the issue of gassing had already intensified. The issue of gassing had already intensified. I think it had even gone. It was even subsiding. But that is when Chris Zumanzimba was appointed. So if there was gassing, Chris Zumanzimba definitely found the issue of gassing already happening. If it was indeed whatever, Chris Zumanzimba would not have been part of the orchestrators because he found the thing already happening. So anyway, these two gentlemen were caught then. One of them who is a nephew to President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And I think this is where the issue is. Because this guy is a nephew to Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And they are targeting Edgar Chagwa Lungu, hence picking this guy. Anyway, at that point, at that time, when they arrested these guys with those substances, the law stated that whoever was found with those chemicals or with those substances, he was entitled to bail. He was entitled to bail or bond. And those guys were actually on bond. Later on, the case was dismissed by the state through a nolle. Chris was not involved at that time. This time around, they have rearrested them based on the same circumstances. And Chris has been grafted into this matter because they found that there was a phone conversation between, Chris and the nephew to Edgar Chagwa Lungu. But honestly, Chris was the political advisor to the former president. This was a nephew who was coming from Petauke and was reporting some of these political activities. And that's how he was talking with Chris Zumanzimba. Unfortunately, on that basis, Chris Zumanzimba, because of that phone call, Chris Zumanzimba is inside. There is another guy who is a mayoress who is a friend to the former president's nephew. And this guy, again, it is a phone conversation. Just a phone, not that there is a recording at Novaland. No. Just whereby you go and do a printout and you say, hey, what about this one? What were you talking to him? And this guy is also inside. He's a mayoress from Chainama. He has nothing to do with all these things that they're talking about. And they are inside. So they applied to the court to say, by the time when we were caught, we were entitled to bail. Can we be given bail? Though the law has changed. The law changed, I think, in 2022. To say no bail if you're found with whatever chemical, whatever. So they said at the time that we committed this offense, we were entitled to bond or bail. Can we be given bond or bail? Today, a judge called Chinyanwa Zulu has ruled to say no, the law can be applied retrospectively. I will not go too much on that because I've not read the judgment fully. But basically, the judge says no, they are charged with this case which is non-bailable. They should stay there, in spite of the fact that they are alleged to have committed this whatever, or they were found with this at the time when this was not bondable. Now, it is very strange to those who have done law. This case is very, very strange, but I'm not going to say much on it. I need to read the judgment, taking my time. I'm not a lawyer, so I need to understand every word to see how the judge arrived at this matter, arrived at this conclusion. I will read it tomorrow and I'll give you an update. But what is sad is that Chris Zumanzimba and his co-accused remain in incarceration. And I feel bad because from what I've seen or what I've heard, I don't see that case succeeding. I don't see that case succeeding. And you will remember me, if this case will really even go to court, you will remember me that Tayali said it. I don't see the police being able to convict those people succeeding on this matter to say they had that substance with the intention to harm people. They can't. They can't prove it. In a criminal matter, I don't think they can. I don't think they can. But nonetheless, that is the situation. And I feel very bad that these innocent people are still incarcerated. And around that, I want to say that it is a pity. It is a pity that the UPND are so preoccupied to find a case around Edgar Chagwa Lungu. A number of people that are being arrested, all those who are around Edgar Chagwa Lungu, they are being targeted. And the questions are the same. What is Edgar Lungu doing? Where is he getting the money? How much does he give you? But I've been telling you here that Edgar Lungu, that you think that is doing anything, to some of us, is even frustrating us that is not doing anything. I, for one, am very frustrated. I am frustrated. I wish President Edgar Lungu would do something. At least I wish he would do something. I'm frustrated. I wish he would do something. Talk about the money that you talk about to say, no, Edgar Lungu, whatever. I will tell you, point blank. Some of us, we are struggling. Me, I'm struggling. You think that, no, Edgar Lungu, yes. And it's true. I have got connection with President Edgar Lungu. But in spite of my challenges, when my wife was going to Ethiopia, I saw the car here. I saw the car. The guy that bought the car, I haven't even given him now. If Edgar Lungu was giving out money, I wouldn't have sold my car. If Edgar Lungu was giving out money, I wouldn't be borrowing money. And to be honest with you, yes, sometimes I actually get frustrated. I'm like, come on, this man. But the issue is that the man is just living a very simple life, very straightforward life. The speculations that people talk about Edgar Lungu has containers of money and whatever, I can't speak for him. But for me, I'm speaking from my experience with Edgar Lungu. There is no one who is getting dollars as you assume. There is no one. Not even Nakachinda. Not even whatever. There is no one that is drawing money from there. No one. So, it is not that, I'm saying this to tell you that he's not doing anything. He's not paying, Edgar Lungu is not paying anything to anyone to do anything for him. Me, I talk for him. I do this and that for him. He doesn't engage me to say, Tayali, do this for me, I'm going to pay you. No. I do it for the love that I have for him as a former president and as a person that I consider to be a good person. And similarly, even these other people that you see doing things for Edgar Lungu, they do them simply because they agree with him or they love him. That's all. Not because Edgar Lungu is giving money. So imwe bakapokola imwe. Dremyewe chishinga ine ndemyewe chishinga ngamulefu wa mkanji temkanji pushebwilo wilo. Nkamieva the same thing. I wish he was doing something. Because sometimes when you are pushing something, but he doesn't want. Even this political thing, no, Edgar Lungu, he wants to come back, he wants to take PF and whatever. All those things, Talimonokuba. Even people like Andy, you were busy asking him, hey, what do you do there? Hey, what does... Come on, Mwevantu. Leave that man in peace. Leave that man in peace. Anyway, that is about Chris Zumanizimba. This case is all about, the people that are close to Edgar Lungu and people wanting to get to him. I will read the judgment and I will give my comment, what I think about that judgment. But sadly, at the moment, Chris Zumanzuma remains incarcerated and is at Ibex police station. The next thing is on Emmanuel Mwamba. The issue on Emmanuel Mwamba, surprisingly, like I told you yesterday, he has been charged. First, they charged him they picked him like a robber, you know, a dangerous robber. They were tracking him. What ni robber who is on the run with guns. They found him, surrounded him, manhandled him, twisted his arms, twisted his fingers just to grab the phone. Shoved him into a Corolla, as big as he is. If you look at the video that I saw yesterday, kuli Makebi Zulu. If you look at the video that I saw yesterday, kuli Makebi Zulu, you would be worried for Emmanuel Mwamba, because really they twisted him, they manhandled him. Surprisingly, when they went to police, the first thing that they did, Wakapogola, is to charge Emmanuel Mwamba that he has assaulted a police officer at Stephen Simwinga. He has assaulted him, and they arrested him. But himself, Emmanuel, was not given a medical report to go to hospital so that he can be checked. Because clearly, when I looked at the video, the way they handled him, that man needed medical attention. But they didn't allow him to seek that medical attention. Instead, a police officer must have gotten a medical report and said Emmanuel Mwamba assaulted him. How can Emmanuel Mwamba assault a person when he's the one that they were pulling all around and trying to grab a phone and trying to shove him in a small vehicle? How can that be? But this is the country that we are living in. So the first charge was assault. But Bakapokola, I really doubt if they will even bring again this case before court, because, I mean, that video clearly shows how Emmanuel Mwamba was being mishandled. And there are a lot of witnesses there. There are a lot of witnesses. I'm sure people will be willing to come and testify, especially that pregnant woman. I met with her, this pregnant woman who is very, very upset because they grabbed her phone and she had to follow it to go and get the phone. She's very, very upset. She's very, very upset with the way they handled him. The other guy was also incarcerated. I don't know about this guy, but I know of the pregnant woman. Anyway, it would be an interesting case if it goes to court. Then, after charging him with assault, then today, I think today, they charged him now with forgery and publishing a fake letter. This is about those two letters which are talking about the Catholic Church. Again, with that letter, it is very clear. Emmanuel Mwamba downloaded that letter, or let me not say Emmanuel Mwamba, whoever downloaded, people downloaded this letter from a Twitter page, and at some organization, some foreign organization. That's why they downloaded it. So how do you accuse them of forgery? I will not say more. But what is the update? The update is that they have now charged Emmanuel Mwamba with that case of forgery and whatever. And together with it, they have jointly charged him together with Andrew Ruchinde and Thomas Piri. Andrew Ruchinde and Emmanuel Mwamba have been released on bond. So Emmanuel Mwamba has been released with 2 bonds. 1 year assault, 2 the one for at forgery and publication. Thomas Piri, according to my information, has not been released because Andrew and Andy and Emmanuel Mwamba were at Woodlands, whilst Thomas was at whatever Kachingwe police post. He was supposed to be brought to Woodlands so that he can be released together with them. But I think there must have been a lapse in terms of time because they were released late in the evening. So we are hoping that Thomas Piri will also be released tomorrow. Maybe it was just an issue of picking him and bringing him there. Maybe time couldn't allow. But we are praying that tomorrow he will be released. They are all jointly charged. Okay. There were speculations that Fred Membe was also supposed to be charged on the same. We thank God that Fred Membe has not been arrested, and we pray that he's not going to be arrested, because really this case has got no depth. This case has got no depth. So that is the update on those. Yes, my wife, I'm finishing just now. Kia, open. Yes, you can open. I'm finishing just now. I'm finishing, okay? I'm coming just now. I'm not taking long there. So that is the updates on that. Then of course the other one which I've not put in the captions there is the issue of Bachilangwa. Somebody is supposed to give me a judgment so that I can also go through that. Bachilangwa's case is also an interesting case which we need to follow, because I mean the man, it is the state want to pretend that it was possible for him to appear in two courts, one in Lusaka and one in Kawambwa. It is a very strange case. It is a very strange case, but we are hoping that it will be resolved, because what is at stake here is that if Nixon Chilangwa does not appear in court after 90 days, his seat will be nullified. Or if he's arrested and thrown muma cells, 90 days yapita, the seat can be declared vacant. So it is an interesting case that we need to watch in the interest of democracy. The UPND are excited about that. They are hoping that they can corner Bachilangwa in this way. Either he continues staying in hiding, or they find him and they throw him inside and lose the key until 90 days elapses. Then we have a by-election. So you Zambians, you need to pay attention to what is going on over that matter. The last issue that I want to update you on is President Edgar Lungu's, President Hakainde Hichilema's visit to Europe. So the African states, the African heads of state came up with a delegation and chose strategically leaders to be part of this. And these leaders, they had to balance. Remember, this is a war between Russia and Ukraine. So they had to come up with leaders, those who are seemingly on the side of Ukraine, and those who are seemingly on the side of Russia, and those who are in between. So the delegation, if you look at the conduct of the presidents that have been chosen, some of them are aligned to, are more aligned or inclined or leaning towards Ukraine. Others towards Russia. Others are in the middle. For our president is one of those who is seemingly leaning towards Ukraine, because you remember in the United Nations, Zambia voted against Russia, meaning they were on the side of Ukraine. And that's why he has been grafted to be part of this team. Of course, other leaders are more inclined to the Russian side, like Cyril Ramaphosa himself. I mean, those, though they didn't vote, but it is clear that they are more on the side of Russia. And others are in between. So that is a delegation. And that is how our president has found himself among those. But of course, the other point is that President Hakainde Hichilema assumed the chairmanship of SADC. So he's the chairman of SADC, and as such, it is only right that he's part of the delegation. What does this mean for Zambia? It is good. It is good. But there must be a lesson that we should learn. Much as President Hakainde Hichilema is part of this, in certain cases, it is not good to be on one side. Yes, he's part of this, but he is part of this because he's leaning on the side of Ukraine. But our position would be better if we are non-aligned. Zambia has always been non-aligned. So don't get excited to say, no, yes, he has been grafted. Hey, what, because Palace Maramba, no, because Hakainde Hichilema is anything special. No, there's nothing special. It is because of these circumstances that I've explained to you that he is leaning on one side. They had to put up a team that is balanced. But I think as Zambia, we should learn from this that we shouldn't be taking positions. We are a non-aligned country. Let us remain as such. Because these positions that we take, they have consequences. Right now, we are struggling with China because of some of these international policies that we have taken. Some people are getting excited. No, they have finished the deal and whatever. I can tell you that we are far from reaching a full negotiation deal with our lenders. We are far from it. I can tell you that. Don't get excited. This is the problem of Bayou PND. They like propaganda. We are far from it. But far from it because of what? Because of some of these positions that we take. Because of some of these positions that we take. They affect us. From my point of view, I am happy as a country that President Hakainde Hichilema is there, but I'm not so confident that, we are in a good position to even talk during those meetings because we have taken a position. Vladimir Putin will be looking at President Hakainde Hichilema to say, this guy is against me. Yes, Zelensky is happy to see President Hakainde Hichilema. He's looking at him to say, yeah, this is a man that is on my side. He understands my situation. But Ukuya Russia is saying, this is the man that is against me. That is not a good position. That is not a good position. It is better to be in between. I think, like I said, I don't want to take time. I've got family to look after, and I want to be with my family for this evening. So I will not do the phone calls. I will just leave it here. But I am very sad with the status quo on Chris Zuma Nzimba. But we pray that lawyers will find something during the course of next week so that these people can be released, or let them be taken to court so that the trial can start and we can see what evidence really is there. Thank you very much. Have a good night.